Right, the Ballon d'Or, the highest epitome any footballer can achieve. A trophy that used to be given to a player who produced magic on the pitch, whether it was scoring countless number of goals or saving their team with their defensive efforts. But suddenly, it's not given to what you produce on the pitch. It's given to what you won on the pitch. It's given to a player who's won the most silverware. It's given to a player who's won the most trophies just by simply being in the team. We're talking about Jorginho winning UEFA Best Player of the Year. In the same season, players like Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Erling Haaland, Kilian Mbappe were scoring goals, were destroying the Champions League for fun. But because this man won the Champions League and the Euros, taking penalties and making sideways passes, he is being talked about as one of the best players in the world. It blows my mind, and that is why today I'm going to be doing a tier list ranking each player based off where I think they stand in the Ballon d'Or nomination rankings. I'm going to be choosing one player and giving a talking point to why they either deserve or don't deserve to be within those nominations. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so before we kick things off, let me just explain the format and how we are basing these rankings. So we go from GOATed, the players who are playing the best this current season, and the players who are the most on form, to world class, who are similar but not as good, decent, players who are playing pretty well but can still achieve more, underwhelming, where players are getting a lot of hype, or players who aren't playing to their max capability, and an overrated, people who are being so highly praised when they aren't even that good. So we're going to kick things off with the Real Madrid left winger that is Vinicius Jr. and what a season he is having. He scored 7 goals and got 11 assists in about, I believe, 9 games. The guy is playing out of his mind. He is genuinely, I can't explain where this end product has come from, because before it was just pace and skills, but then crossing in the ball where it wasn't finding any players or finishing straight at the goalkeeper. Finally, this man is finishing his chances, exactly what Adama Traore would hope to be, and that's what Vinicius is, a player who's combining everything to perfect his craft. That's what he's doing right now. For me, right now, there is no better left wing, or should I say no more on form left winger than him in the world. So I'm going to be putting him in the decent tier. I would put him in world class, but he hasn't simply reached that level where his ability is world class. Maybe his form and the performances are world class, but we all know that Vinicius still has a long way to go before he can be put into that level. World class isn't just a word to be thrown about. Next, we go for Benzema, who is definitely a world-class player, but is beyond that this season. This man is scoring goals after goals, game after game. Every single game, he just seems to be the best player on the pitch. His playmaking is fantastic. His duo that he's formed with Vinicius has definitely been the most threatening that I've seen since Kane and Son last season, the season before last season. Now, for me, I don't really know if these two are going to be stopped. They're playing against Barcelona next week, so beware Barca. That's all I have to say. Next, we go for Alfonso Davies, player who hasn't been nominated for the Ballon d'Or or the Young Player of the Year award. However, a player who used to be, for me, the best left back in the world. Suddenly, it dropped off after his injury, but I still think he still will reach that level where he is back at the top of his game. He's obviously just come back into the Bayern Munich team and has solidified his starting position, combining well. He's got a few assists this season and he's got a few goals as well. But for me, he still has a while to go until he reaches that top level that he was at the beginning of the 2019-2020 season. So for me, I'm going to put him in the underwhelming category. Next, we have Joshua Kimich. This guy, for me, is going to become one of the greatest midfielders of all time. You heard that right. This guy is an unbelievable playmaker. But not just a playmaker. This guy wins balls every single area around the pitch. His interceptions are fantastic. He has very high football IQ. He knows exactly where to be to intercept the ball or tackle the most talented, the most experienced, the most fierce strikers in Europe. This guy is he's fearless. He is genuinely not scared of anyone or any player. Not even that man next to him, Erling Haaland. So for me, he is world class. Next, we go to Haaland, who similarly, no explanation needed. This guy is, again, world class. He scores in every single game he plays in the Bundesliga. Of course, for me, I think the Bundesliga is probably the biggest farmers league there is. I mean, how can the same team win it about 9 times in a row? I really hope Dortmund can pull something out the bag and finally change things around. But for me right now, these two players are tearing up in the Bundesliga. There's a certain man who is the king of that. That is, of course, Robert Lewandowski. And for me, and not just for me, for everyone, this guy is probably the favorite to win the Ballon d'Or this season. He's currently on 65 goals. Again, Bundesliga tax, but whatever, the stats don't lie. 65 goals. He's very close to actually breaking Lionel Messi's record of 91 goals because he still has 15 games to play. 15 games to play left in the Bundesliga and the Champions League. This guy can easily reach triple figures. So for now, I'm going to put him in GOATed, and I think he's going to win the Ballon d'Or this season. Next, we go for Jaden Sancho, and this one's a tough one. Again, for me, Young Player of the Year award last season, or the season before again even. This guy was a joke. His dribbling was fantastic. His playmaking was unbelievable. I just wish he stayed at Dortmund and combined with Jude Bellingham more. But unfortunately, he has moved to Manchester United, where honestly, he has been underwhelming. I'm hoping and I know that he will come back a lot stronger and will play his best yet again. But for now, I'm putting him in the underrated tier. Next, we go for the man himself, Jorginho. And I don't think there's any discussion needed when I say I'm putting him overrated. How can a player who doesn't get any assists from midfield despite being a more attacking midfielder, who gets outrun in the middle of the park, who is very, very slow, who has no physical attributes towards him, he gets pushed off the ball so easily. The only thing this man has impressed me with is his interceptions, his marking, his through balls which aren't even threatening towards the goal, and of course, his penalties. So I don't know why this man is getting the love he's getting. Honestly, it's hurting me. You've heard it in the preview. It's hurting me that suddenly the Ballon d'Or has become more of a trophy competition rather than a player competition. But that's the point we're at. And for me, this guy's nowhere near the best player in the world. And this guy will definitely not win the Ballon d'Or. If he does, I will shave my eyebrows in the next video. But anyway, Jorginho, overrated. Next, De Bruyne, decent. And that might trigger a lot of people, but obviously he's a world-class player. He is a world-class player. But right now, in terms of his form, he's just come back from injury, scored a great goal against Liverpool recently, but he possesses world-class ability. He hasn't really shown that in the last 6 months, I feel, due to being in and out of the team. Pep likes to experiment, to overthink. He obviously had a very sad substitution in the Champions League final. His face got like blown off, but had a poor Euros as well. Anyway, this guy, if he is injury-free, he's the best midfielder in the world and one of the best midfielders in Premier League history. But right now, I'm going to put him in the decent tier. Next, we go for Kilian Mbappe. This guy's a superstar. We all know how good this guy is. He's definitely been the best young player in the world for about 4 years now. And although he isn't really winning titles at PSG, the team around him will probably easily give him a chance to win the Champions League this season. He didn't have a great Euros, but that doesn't stop him from being the most prolific striker in the Ligue 1 right now, and he has been for the last 4 years. He's the only player from PSG right now that makes me go, wow, this guy is carrying them on their back. So for me, I'm putting Kylian Mbappe, again, world class. Next, we go for Lionel Messi, and this is going to be controversial. I'm going to put him in world class. And look, he is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. There's no dispute that him and Cristiano Ronaldo are the GOATs and they're on another level. But in terms of form this season, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like he is proving that the French league is any different to the Spanish league. We all know that the French league is levels below the Spanish league. La Liga is a much more intense and more of a creative type of league. French league just doesn't have anything that makes you excited to go there, except for PSG. And that's where Messi is, but he's not performing there right now. He hasn't had the most appearances, of course, but I think he really needs to get settled down and set the league alight, because all his fans are really counting on him, and you can see it all over Instagram whenever he has a bad game. Next, we go for Mohamed Salah, and this guy, I mean, you can tell by the way I said his name. As an Egyptian, it just makes me so proud to see a player from my country dominate the world right now. No bias, and I think it's pretty obvious a lot of people I've said it, he's the best player in the world right now. This guy is scoring for 10 games in a row right now, I believe. He'll probably score against Manchester United. It's not just about the goals. The type of goals he's scoring, it's just incredible. The way he gets past players, the playmaking he possesses, and he's not scoring these easy tap-ins or one-on-ones. Nothing wrong with that, but this guy, every single game, he produces a moment for Liverpool fans to hang on. It's getting so consistent, getting so annoying that every single week I have to see a superb and insane goal from him. So for me, this guy, again, he is in the GOATed tier. He is the best player in the world right now. Next, we go for Neymar, and it just hurts me the way that Neymar has fallen off so hard due to lack of discipline. This guy does not want to play football. We've heard it in the recent interview that it's probably his last World Cup, sadly. In Barcelona, I saw a motivated Neymar, and a motivated and effective in the final third Neymar. Not a rainbow flick compilation player Neymar who does not care if he scores in the game or not. He doesn't have that drive or motivation anymore, caught up in the Paris lights and the money he earns at PSG. This guy for me has become so underwhelming. Of course, he is a world-class player again, but his bar is here. He's playing at here. So for me, Neymar is again an underwhelming player. Next, we go for Angola Kante, and I can look at this on two sides. On one hand, this guy is one of the best CDMs of our generation, probably the best CDM of our generation. He has 5 lungs. This guy does not run out of stamina. He is insane. The way he just doesn't stop fighting for a team. Any manager would love to have him. But then there's also the other side that makes me think this guy had 5 good games in April. Of course, this season he started off a lot better, but last season this guy was missing until April. So I could put him in overrated, but for now I'm going to put him in decent. Again, he is a world-class player. Nothing wrong about putting him in world-class. But right now, for me, he is just a decent player when we compare his performances compared to the hype he is getting. Next, we go for Bruno Fernandez. And this guy, as much as I hate to say it, he's just the type of player that I hate. As much as I hate to say it, this guy is unbelievable. This guy's playmaking abilities, his goal-scoring record, types of goals he scores, the combination. Everyone thought he couldn't play with Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's clearly proved everyone wrong. For me, again, this guy is world class. Next, we go for a guy that I never thought I'd even see on this list, and that is Kilian. I don't understand where these shouts are coming from, but he is in a shout of winning the Ballon d'Or apparently. And yet again, the same reason for Jorginho. He won a few trophies with Juventus, won the Euros, and honestly, this guy is closer to retirement than he is to the Ballon d'Or. There is zero chance this guy can even run to the ceremony or walk to the ceremony without pulling a hamstring. He is so old and so fragile. He is genuinely suffering with Juventus. Juventus is going through a very bad stint, and I'm sure a lot of Juventus fans in the comments will agree with me. For now, I'm putting him in overrated. I don't think there's any chance this man wins the Ballon d'Or, unfortunately. Next, we go for Cristiano Ronaldo. Again, the GOAT. Man, this guy is 36 years old, and he scored 7 goals in all competitions, the Champions League and the Premier League for Manchester United. How can you doubt him? He's inevitable. 2 last-minute winners in a row. This guy is genuinely... I cannot believe how good he's playing despite being so old, and that is a result of his fitness and his mentality. In the end, him and Lionel Messi are always going to be on another level, and by this point, we thought players like Neymar and Suarez and Mbappe were going to take over, but they are still going. But for now, Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are world-class players. I was going to stay like that for a while. I think the players who are most in the shout to win the Ballon d'Or this season are probably Lionel Messi, Mohamed Salah, Benzema, Ronaldo obviously, and Lewandowski. But the players who are the most on form in the world is what you can see on your screen right now. Salah, Benzema, and Lewandowski are on another level this season, on another planet this season. We'll just have to see how long that lasts, and maybe we'll do an update in the middle of the season or the next international break. For now, thank you guys so much for watching. There will be a Spotify podcast going more in depth and comparing players who are in the nominee list and players who aren't in the nominee list that should be in the nominee list. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and peace.